Right now joining us, a very funny comedian, Miss Paula Poundstone. Paula, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
I am fantastic. You got a show coming up this Friday here in Billings. Is this a first time to Billings for you, or have you done this before?
I think I might have been there a long time ago. I can't remember.
Yeah, I'm sure it gets old. You know, I mean, like, or not old, but you just forget when you're touring that much. You can't remember where you've been and when.
Yeah, I was in another place in Bozeman, Montana, and I said to the crowd, I guess it was, that it was my first time in Montana, and somebody came up to me and said, I saw you in Billings a long time ago.
I see.
I said, oh, okay, well, then it was my second time in Montana.
Yeah, you don't remember. Well, you're really busy. It's kind of like you were, really, really big, obviously doing your thing, then you kind of went away out of the mainstream a little bit. Now you're all over the place again. Is this like a calculated comeback, or is it just luck of the draw that now you're all over the place?
No, it's just luck of the draw. I'm just out there working, telling my little jokes. I just came home. I was in Las Vegas for 2 nights, and so I'm still. I still have some rub marks from the sequins bra.
Yeah, I'm sure that's not comfortable.
No, not at all. They can shave. People don't realize a certain amount of bravery goes into working in Vegas. But so that was So this is my big out west tour. I guess I do. I was in Las Vegas, and I do Billings, Montana, and then I do Portland, Oregon, because I'm going for the Puddle Festival, and that's my job.
Yeah, sounds busy. And then I
come home and I happen to have 3 kids, 16 cats, a bearded dragon lizard, a lop-eared bunny, a German Shepherd mixed dog, and 1 ant left from my ant farm. So
you really have 16 cats?
I do, and a lot of people say to me, people go like, "Oh my God, how did you get 16 cats?" Unfortunately, I can tell you exactly how I got 16 cats, which is I had 15, and I got 1 more.
That'll do it.
Exactly, yeah.
I think I just saw an episode of Hoarders last week where a lady had 16 cats.
Oh, is that true? But she was disorganized in other ways.
Yes, it was. So you're organized and then just have the cats.
Yes. In fact, I brought them in to help with the organization.
You don't consider yourself, when everybody's like, oh, she's one of those cat ladies, you don't consider yourself like a crazy cat lady, or are you?
Any craziness I have is not remotely related to the cats, but I don't know how we ended up with 16, really.
Yeah.
We have a 24-hour cat webcam focused on my cat's food and water bowls.
Oh, cool.
That you can, and I occasionally do a presentation that I call the Big Book of Bad Ideas show. But the thing is, the webcam is fixed. It does not move, because otherwise the cats would mess with it. And it's underneath a table. It's actually installed in the leg of a table. And therefore, in order for me to do a presentation, I have to put my head lay down on the floor underneath the table and slide my head sideways over the cat's bowls. So the odds of my show ever having guests are very, very slim.
I like it. I'm kind of intrigued now. It was just the cats, and I was like, I've seen cats eat, but if there's a chance of Paula Poundstone poking her head into the frame under the table.
I poke my head in every so often. For several weeks before Christmas, and I intend to resume this. I've just been overwhelmed by things at home. But for several weeks before Christmas, I was doing a presentation of A Christmas Carol, 1 line at a time, on my webcam over my cat's bowl. So it was a unique production.
Yes,
at the very least.
I have not heard of a production like that. And this is all at PaulaPoundstone.com?
It's all PaulaPoundstone.com. Yeah, it's a very active website.
I like it. Did you know, somebody pointed this out to me, because we'd been promoting that you were going to be on the show, and somebody came up to me. Did you know you got a mention on an episode of The Office last week?
I didn't. My son who was in the 7th grade, his 6th grade math teacher emailed me to tell me, and then after that there was a bunch of things on the Twitter feed about it.
Yeah.
I didn't quite know what to make of it, honestly.
That's what I was going to ask. Is that kind of flattering, or did you feel insulted, or are you?
No, I don't think it was said in an insulting way. I think they were. I think that they were putting together some sort of gift package for someone, and they got him it's kind of funny because it was 2 tickets to Paula Poundstone in Poughkeepsie, and in fact, I'm in Poughkeepsie. It must have been for somebody. One of the writers must have seen a sign somewhere because I'm in Poughkeepsie. I think the first weekend, maybe in February.
That's funny. Well, if you see Steve Carell sitting in the front row, then you'll know where that came from.
Yeah, that'd be nice, huh?
Do you run around with anybody like that? Do you have any famous Hollywood friends?
No, I have 3 kids and 16 cats.
Yeah, that's enough.
I don't run around anywhere. No, but I loved Date Night.
You did?
Oh my God, I thought it was funny.
Are you a Tina Fey fan as a comedian?
I love Tina Fey. I mean, honestly, I don't get to see that many movies. But I happen to have the opportunity to see that, and I just thought it was so damn funny. I didn't even want to watch it, to be honest with you. My kid hammered me into it, and then I watched it, and I was like, oh my heavens, is this funny?
Yeah, she's pretty. Both of them are very funny, so...
Yeah.
That's a good movie. What else do you have? You've got a lot going on, though, aside from just the tour, too, and the website with the cat cam. You've got some, like a book and some the NPR thing. Tell us about what all the other things you're working on.
I work. I'm lucky enough to work on an NPR show called Wait, Don't Tell Me, which is a weekly news quiz show. And I'm one of, every week they have 3 panelists, and there's about 15 of us that rotate. And so I'm not on nearly often enough for my tastes, but it's really fun to do. We compete for the mantle of knowing the most about the week's news. And the fun thing about it as a performer is that they kind of, you sort of lobbed topics. It is the panelists are unscripted, and so we're kind of, we're lobbed topics by virtue of talking about the week's news. And it's sort of like being a batter in a batting cage, I imagine, I just get to kind of go after one thing after the other.
That's nice. Do they give you the topics ahead of time and let you prepare?
No, they don't. The only things we know about ahead of time, I mean, we know that it's based on the week's news. So I suppose if one were really motivated, you could just sort of take the week's news and prepare material. I've not done that ever. I don't think it's because I'm unmotivated, but because I don't, I'm lucky to even know a smidgen about what's going on. I, by the way, hold the record for losses on the show. Not by design. It's just worked out that way. In fact, one time, part of the show is, they ask us questions throughout, and listeners call in and participate as well. And but towards the very end of the show, there's a section called the lightning round, and that's when we answer the most questions. And one night, a couple years back, we had a 10-year anniversary party. And we were all, we all came in we all live in different places in the country, and we all came in and it was the first time we'd ever been together in the same room. And so, here we are at this dinner, and the producers, before the dinner begins, clink a glass and make a little speech, and they have assembled some statistics that they read, about like how many radio stations bought the show when it first came out and how many bought it now, and those kinds of statistics, and everybody's applauding for the different things. And then they have this one, they say, how many times someone has gotten no answers right in the lightning round. And it happened only one time, they said, and I'm looking around my table wondering which poor idiot suffered that humiliation, and of course in a minute they revealed that it was me.
Yeah.
And not only that, but it was only about 2 weeks before, and I had no memory of it. So I even if I'd been answering lightning round questions about myself, I would have gotten it wrong.
That's good. That you at least, if you're going to lose, you might as well block it out of your memory so you can keep moving forward.
Well, precisely. That's exactly what I do. That's exactly. I put it in a little box and I move on. Very good.
And this show Friday night at the Babcock here. Doors open at 7. Show starts at 8:00. Tickets are still available. Are people going to see? Is this like a mix of new and old material? Is this a whole new set, or what's the show this Friday going to be?
It's probably a mix of new and old, I imagine. My act is a little bit like a cocktail party. When I first get there, I talk about how hard it was to park and apologize for being late. And then we talk about some current events, and then somebody says, tell that story from a long time ago, and I tell something old, and then somebody spills a drink on the other side of the room, and I mock them.
Well, there you go. It's a little of everything. I think it's going to be a very fun show, and it's exciting to see you back in Billings, or in Billings for the first time. I guess nobody knows.
Well, surely there's some sort of Billings Census Bureau that will be able to give us that data.
Yeah, by Friday we'll have that figured out. Paula Poundstone, Friday night at the Babcock. Paula, thanks so much for joining us this morning, and have a great week.
All right, thanks, you too.
All right, bye-bye.
The Big J Show. Weekday mornings from 6 till 10 on Billings' #1 hit music station, Hot 101.9.